I don't really do reviews, but considering I was excited for this movie for quite some time, I figured I would throw some words together for this one, and I'll probably do another for the Fantastic Four movie. I enjoyed this movie. It brought a sense of excitement for a larger cinematic comic book universe that I haven't felt in a long time. And being a DC guy in my heart of hearts, this one felt good. It brought a real sense of hope, no pun intended, for the future of the DCU. To get to the film, I think the first thing we have to talk about is the casting. We really couldn't have asked for a more perfect trio than David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult as our Clark, Lois, and Lex. Corenswet just embodies and feels like Superman. Like, this is my Superman, and I never had to think twice about it. From the moment he stepped on screen, you can tell that he's got it, and his chemistry with Brosnahan is very palpable and real. As Clark and Lois, they were amazing together. Real yearners. I thought that the interview between the two early on was one of my favorite scenes of the entire movie because of how much insight we got into specifically Lois's character. Lois as a character stands in two worlds, and this scene illustrates her understanding of both. She understands both the general pessimism of her fellow man, how we are cynical and doubtful beings, how we question everything down to the most minute details, most of all how we fear the unknown. And she peppers Superman with all of these questions that she knows people will ask, but as well as questions that she herself perhaps has always had. Lois Lane is a character who is focused solely on one thing, and that is the truth. And immediately in this scene, all of this comes across in her character. Despite the interview ending on a sour note, when Lois meets Superman at his apartment, we see that she also embraces and believes in the unknown that is Superman. She believes in the goodness that is Superman. Even when America and what feels like the world is against him, Lois believes in the man with a heart of gold. Punk rock, he calls it. Because in such a pessimistic, cynical world, it's so radical to be kind and hopeful and to see the good in everything and everyone. And Superman inspires her, like he does everyone in the film, because he is just so good, even when he has every right not to be. To return to the interview, I thought it was also a great entry point for Superman. Not as a hero, but as the man, a return to form. We've had the cynical, pessimistic hero as the default hero for about a decade. Considering the Superman adaptation in Man of Steel, in Batman vs. Superman, in the Justice League, if we consider all of the evil Superman depictions, Homelander, Omni-Man, the Injustice Superman, this movie is a breath of fresh air from all of that. This Superman is earnest, he's kind. This Superman is human, and he showcases every aspect of his humanity, and it's not frowned upon. His anger isn't this horrifying, world-bending event. His anger isn't demonized. Neither are his tears, nor even his joy. We have a Superman who smiles. We have a Superman who showcases the broad spectrum of his emotions. When times get tough for him, he asks his parents for solutions, for guidance, for love when the world doesn't love him. Very much like in For All Seasons or in Superman Kryptonite. In fact, Superman loses a lot in this movie. He gets his ass beat many times. He has to face down death, be vulnerable, and ask for help a lot. That's what being human is. And he's given the space to be human in the film, and I really love that. This is a Superman who is an inspiration to the people, and yet he is also so clearly inspired by the people of the world. Being Superman is difficult. We all know that what he's doing is for the good, and we see that in the Baravian conflict. Goodness is blocked by sanctions and policies and barriers, but he operates on a fundamentally different level. Him yelling that people were going to die was him shouting the ethos of the character. He's not interested in what he represents, what lines he might cross. Instead, he is interested in the good of the people, in saving people. That's his mission. His morality is not bound by lines across a map. Superman will always fight to help those who are oppressed, and that fight inspires the Justice Gang, Lois, Jimmy. It's a ripple effect. It inspires everyone to take action. That's the punk rock. Speaking of help, the Justice Gang was also an interesting adaptation. Funded by Maxwell Lord, which is why they all have similar looking costumes. But they were a great addition in the movie to highlight the landscape of metahumans and heroes in this universe. Mr. Terrific, of course, was amazing, the standout, but Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner was also excellent. But I thought that Superman having his own costume and just overall being a different kind of hero than the rest, being mindful of civilians, not trying to kill and break everything, made me think of Kingdom Come Superman and a couple of his moments with Batman and with Nightwing. He is just different from everybody else. Everyone looks to Superman as an inspiration. He's like your favorite hero's favorite hero. And in this film, he feels like the superhero, and everybody else just feels like a hero. And I think in time, he will elevate them all. Starting with their costumes, except Mr. Terrific, of course. But I need to see Guy in that classic GL jacket, and it would be cool to see Hawkgirl in a more traditional suit. And last but not least, Lex Luthor was my favorite character in the entire film. Just a perfect encapsulation of the character. This version reminds me so much of the comic Lex Luthor Man of Steel, the story told from Lex's perspective, where he sees Superman as this truly monstrous figure. And to me, that's what Holt's Luthor sees. Nicholas Hoult was incredible. He embodied a Lex whose superiority complex is felt throughout Metropolis, even in the way Luthor Corps looks down on the city. Lex once said that there is only room on this planet for one god, and Lex needs it to be him. Man cannot fly because Lex Luthor has not made man to fly. If man does fly, then he is not a man. He believes that in the course of human history, he is already above Galileo and Einstein, calls them twits. He manufactures a genocide just for an excuse to kill Superman, because he believes in his heart of hearts that it is for the greater good of humanity if Superman is out of the picture. It would be better for mankind if he is the one who becomes mankind's savior. You can tell that this Lex spends every single waking moment thinking about Superman, about how Superman robbed him of his place in history. The guy has got a monkey factory writing tweets about Superman. He is a micro and a macro hater. He was seething so badly that he started crying. Like, I could only laugh. The essence of Lex Luthor here was captured, and I hope they bring him back for an even bigger role. The film, however, isn't perfect. I felt it to be overstuffed. It stretches itself too thin at times. I wish we had more time with Clark at the Daily Planet, and as well as Clark and Lois, just to see how he balances that aspect of his life, and how much fun their brief interactions were. I would have also liked more time with Ma and Pa Kent. Just the fact that there are so many characters in this movie, it just inherently gives us less time with Superman, and so I would have liked it to be a little bit longer so we could have more time with the main character. I thought Superman's final monologue to Lex was corny and heavy-handed, a bit like talking to a brick wall, because you know damn well Lex doesn't care about what Superman has to say. He will not change his opinion because Superman's very existence threatens his goals. I'm not a big fan of having Jor-El and Lara send Superman to Earth to rule, though I understand the change narratively to have Superman understand that he shouldn't desire to help people because he was told to, as he hears it from Pa Kent. Instead, of course, he should want to help people out of the goodness of his own heart. But I do think that with Supergirl and with the future movies coming out, if they decide to use General Zod or the other Kryptonians as antagonists or plot points in the future, this is an important point that will have to be explored and clarified. There's also a loneliness in Superman that I also missed. Whether it's from his childhood fallout with Lex, not being able to save those closest to him, stuck between two worlds, forced to hide himself from everybody, which creates the weight of having to balance the world and his relationships. That his sacrifice for choosing to be a champion of the people is that he gives up the ability to be intimately known by the people around him. A man universally loved but still lonely, especially being the last son of Krypton. If given more time, I think we could have sat in that brief feeling. We could then feel the weight of being the only person in the world that can do what he does, and that has to make the decisions that he does. I think that dilemma is interesting. Once again, the film is overstuffed and a bit awkward in some places, but what it lacks in those areas, it makes up for it with sheer heart, character, and a real energy behind it. Movies are about how you feel when you're watching it, how you feel when you leave the theater, and I felt good watching this. Not gonna lie, I felt hopeful and I felt inspired. The shot of Superman ascending to the clouds after having saved somebody, it's the shot of the movie for sure. An absolutely breathtaking shot. I think that's the moment in the film that solidified that overall feeling for me that, yeah, this is Superman. There's a real earnestness about this movie that I just loved. Superman is optimistic to a fault, he is filled with goodness and empathy and kindness, and that really carries the film and it is permeated throughout the movie. The guy saves a damn squirrel, yeah, that's my Superman. Overall, a very good entry point into this new world, and I think I gave it a 4 out of 5, so yeah. Go see it if you haven't already, and let me know what y'all think.